that the poses and the practice is actually giving our mind a very deep rest. So you don't have to think about anything. I've got you. I'm going to take you through a nice, nourishing practice. Please don't judge yourself. Just observe. And take a moment to notice if the jaw is tight. So relax the jaw. And you can do that by opening up the mouth and kind of stretching out the mouth and the jaw a little bit. And then place the tip of the tongue right behind the back of the two front teeth, just very lightly. And you'll notice that that will unhinge your jaw. And now please exhale your breath completely. And then we'll inhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath in at the top. Exhale through your nose for 4, 3, 2. Navel draws in and up. Hold the breath out at the bottom. Inhale again for 4, 3, 2. Let the breath rise all the way up. Hold it in. Exhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2. Gentle contraction of the navel towards the spine. Pause. And then inhale through the nose. 3, 2. Hold at the top. Exhale through the nose. Hold it out at the bottom. Inhale again. Hold at the top. Exhale through the nose. Hold it out at the bottom. And keep that going on your own until you start to develop this nice cadence with the breath. The interesting thing about this is that the mind is going to put up a little bit of a fuss about this initially. But then over time and throughout your practice, it will favor this cadence, which will create more space in your mind as it creates more space in your body. So just continue to breathe like that, just a few more rounds. We want to establish this way of breathing because this is kind of how we're going to be breathing throughout the practice. Pretty much like this, with a little bit of variations. And now see if you can exhale a little bit longer than your inhale. So that could be to a count of 5 or 6, maybe even 8 for some of you. And do that just a couple more rounds, maybe 2 or 3 more rounds. And have this intention of when you breathe in, you're creating more space in your body and your lungs. And when you breathe out, you're releasing more and more tension. Good. Last round here. It's very important that we take this time before we jump into our body to really settle down, to create a calmness and a relaxation. Now on your next inhale, let's sweep the arms out and up, get nice and lifted and long through your side body. Reach up, slide your ears back so that you're right on top of your shoulders and not pitching the chin forward or jetting the chin up. So keep it parallel. And then with this really nice, lovely length you're creating here, just keep it and take a twist to your right. Take your left hand on the outside of your right knee and just bring that right hand back close to your spine so it creates a little bit of leverage to stay lifted. And now keeping that left hip nice and rooted, it's going to want to get light, okay? So keep it heavy and then twist a little bit more from the diaphragm up. Take one more in-breath to draw some length to your spine. And then as you exhale, maybe you can twist a little bit more. Come back through center, inhale, reach those arms back up again so it reminds the spine to stay long. You never want to twist a compressed spine, so make sure it stays long and then twist towards your left. And take your right hand on the outside of your left knee, slide that left hand close to your spine. And then now it's the right hip, right? You guys can feel that. The right hip gets light when we twist towards the left. So do the best you can to re-anchor through that right hip. The pelvis stays level when we twist. We want that to stay anchored and really isolated. And then we lengthen up and twist from the belly button up is what is twisting. Take one more breath to draw some length on the inhale. And then as you exhale, twist. And notice if you feel tighter on this side. And then come back through center. Inhale, reach up through the fingertips. And then just placing the hands right on top of your thighs and drop your right ear to your right shoulder. If it's comfortable for you and you want a little more stretch and more sensation, stretch your left fingertips along the mat, right alongside your hip. Make sure the spine is long, lift the chest. And what's happened to the breath? Are you still breathing nice and steadily? So just keep drawing yourself and your attention back to how you're breathing. So lift the head back up through center. Take the left hand on top of your left thigh and then drop your left ear and stretch your right fingertips towards the floor. Maybe notice the difference from side to side. And then coming back up through center. And then now keeping the nice lift of the chest, just drop your chin down towards the throat. So now you're flexing or extending actually the back of your neck, feeling that nice stretch. We're going to move through some flexion and extension of the neck. So just take another moment here to squeeze the chin into the throat. And then on your next inhale, lift the face up towards the ceiling and as far back that's comfortable for you. So be real careful with the neck, especially if you're bringing a lot of tension in that area. So just go slow, stay here. And then chin down towards the throat as you exhale. And let's take that with breath now. So inhale, lift the face up towards the ceiling and maybe a little bit back. Exhale, bring your chin down towards the throat, create a little compression, squeezing. And do that a couple more times on your own, and the inhale takes you all the way to the full expression, and the exhale all the way, squeezing the chin down towards the throat. Synchronizing breath 2 more times with that movement. So the yoga practice is actually the beginning of creating deeper awareness to ourselves, to what we're feeling. And that is truly how we become our own doctor or our own guru, is listening to what's going on, listening to the body's feedback. Come back up through center, and then let's take the hands forward in front of you like you're placing them on the wall. And then you're going to draw the fingers underneath towards your elbow. So you're pressing through the top of the wrist and forearms. And then as you inhale, you're going to open the hands back up again, spread the fingers wide. And then as you exhale, pull the fingers down to stretch the top of the forearm. So do that a couple more times, and you can decide if you want to create more of a fist when you pull the knuckles down, and that will definitely create more stretch. So just see how that feels as you do this a couple more times on your own. And I'm remembering right now that there's actually several of you here in class that have dealt with broken wrists in the recent past and sometimes maybe a long time ago. But this is how we kind of keep that healing process going and nourishing our joints. The old injuries will pop up. They will let you know, oh, remember me? Let's do this one more time. Good, and now just bring those elbows right into your ribs so you relax the shoulders. And make a fist, kind of not a real tight fist, but kind of just a very soft fist. And start to circle the wrists in nice, big, slow circles. Try not to be in a hurry with this. It's a very simple movement, but it's actually pretty profound in the effect it has on our wrist and forearms. And I know for me, I used to think of this as being very boring. But now I'm like, I really appreciate stuff like this. Okay, let's go the other direction a few times, especially as you get more issues in the body, right? With the wrist and elbows, maybe tendinitis, those types of things. This will really help to heal and prevent that. And do that a couple more times and notice which wrist feels more open, which one feels tighter. And then give your hands a little shake out. Shake out your hands. And then we're going to switch the feet. So take your opposite foot in front. And that's just going to give us more balanced in our hips, a different hip stretch. And then we're going to work through the fingers. So I want you to take your right hand in front of your face, palm facing towards your face. Then take your left hand and bring your left hand on your fingers and pull them back as you press through the heel of your hand. Yeah, you're really going to feel that. So go easy, go slow, especially if you're healing from an injury. Now what's happened? Are you making a funny face? Did you slide that right shoulder up by the ear because it's really intense? So just go real easy. Back off a little bit if you need to. And then let's release that. Now we don't want to forget about the thumb. So let's take the thumb and pull the thumb back as well. And kick through the heel of your hand. Good. Stay breathing. One more breath. And then gently release that and just take a moment to squeeze really tight in that right hand and open really wide. So do that a couple times on this right hand. Squeeze and open. Squeeze and open. And this is creating more pumping action, which is like, you know, the heart muscle has a pumping mechanism, right? But the lymphatic system does not. So this is actually helping to move lymph as well and creating more circulation. One more time, squeeze and release, and then shake out that hand. And just take a moment with the hands on your lap and notice the difference. The right hand feels a little vibration or heat, and the left hand doesn't feel anything. So that's pretty amazing when you pay attention. Let's now take the left hand in front of your face and then take all of your fingers and pull them back towards underneath your elbow. Press through the heel of your hand and relax the shoulder. Deepen the breath wherever possible. One more full breath. And then let's release that, and we'll take the thumb, and we'll do that one all by itself. It's kind of a special digit. It gets to have a stretch all to itself. Do you notice a difference from this hand to the other? And then let's release that, and we'll do that squeezing Squeezing and releasing. Pretty amazing, right? Probably surprises you how a lot of sensation as we stretch the fingers and the hands. One more pumping action, squeeze and release, and then shake it out. You can shake them both out. Good. So a little bit more wrist stuff. Let's come on to hands and knees. And before we do that, let's just stretch the ball of your right foot back. We've been in that cross-leg position for a little bit, so just let the blood rush through the leg. Press through the heel of your foot. And then release to the other side. Left leg back and press through the heel of your foot. And then back onto hands and knees. Okay, let's turn the fingers to face outward. Just directly to the right and to the left. And you want your heels of the hands to be on your mat and the fingers are probably off your mat. So it's a pretty wide stride here with your arms. And now take this side to side movement. You're going to shift to the right and shift to the left. So we're just starting the process of opening up the wrist and the forearms a little bit more. Side to side, a couple more times. It's this lateral movement. And then come back through center and now start to face your fingers to face all the way back. Now this is going to be pretty strong for some of you, so you may want to walk your knees in a little bit, shorten up your stride, and that will definitely help to make this more accessible. You can stay in real close as you need to, or start to walk your knees back a little further as you're ready. And the further back the knees go, the more sensation you're going to feel. So just pay attention to your own body's feedback. This is your own personal prescription. Now we'll slide forward and back. So now you're taking that forward and back movement just a little bit. Have to take into consideration what we've been through this last week. You know, what kind of stress have you been under? What kind of activities have you partaken in? How's your sleep been? What's your diet been like? All of that is going to affect how you feel right now. Listen to the sound of the breath. We'll take one more round here. And then we'll release, so you can walk your knees in to make it easier to release the hands. And then I'm going to have you bring your blocks. If you can't sit comfortably on your heels, then take your blocks and move your feet apart and place a block or 2 blocks right underneath your seat. Okay, so just make it comfortable so you can sit here. And then just circle the wrists back out again. So after doing that, that's going to be pretty sensitive and sore. So just circle them back out. And then now place the fingers on your shoulders like this. Thumbs behind your shoulders, fingers in front of. And move the elbows way apart from each other. So you're nice and open across the chest. We're going to start circling into the shoulders. Inhale, bring your elbows together and up towards the ceiling, and exhale back and down. So you're taking the biggest circle that you can without losing contact, fingers on the shoulders. And then now breathe with this movement. So the inhale lends itself to lifting the elbows up, and the exhale back and down. Full lungs on the in-breath, creating more space. Releasing more tension on the out-breath. My shoulder's pretty noisy. I don't know about you, but I've got a lot of clicking and clunking going on in there. And then let's reverse it. Go the other way. Elbows go out to the side, up towards the ceiling, forward in front, and all the way back around. Do that maybe 4 or 5 times with your breath. Really bringing some nourishment into our joints today in this class. something I think we all could use. One more big circle. Good, and then release and just shake out the arms a little bit. Then let's come forward enough to curl the toes under. So if you had your blocks, you might want to move them out of the way. Bring your feet together and bring those toes. I gotta take my socks off, I forgot. Okay, so curl the toes under. Try to get all the toes under if you can. You may have to just help that pinky toe a little bit because it likes to do its own thing. And then start to move the hips back and forth a couple times just to invite, you know, a little more stretch and to evaluate what's going on in the feet. And then as you're ready, you can sit all the way back onto the heels. This is called toe screaming pose for a good reason. If this is too much, you can stand on the knees, and that will take the pressure off a little bit. But how important is it that we take care of our toes and our feet? We tend to forget about them. And then we can kind of shift a little bit side to side. And my husband's making me laugh. I'm sorry. You can't take class anymore. Okay, then we'll come forward onto hands and knees and then uncurl the toes and just give them a little tap out. And that will feel pretty good, I promise. And then let's take that right leg straight back, lift it up and bring it in line with your hip, toes facing down. And then stretch your left arm forward. So now we're gonna work into spinal balance and also working into our core a little bit. So let's just take a moment to establish here. It's also a little balancing posture. And just check it out, see how you're feeling. Make sure you're not dumping into the right shoulder. Stay lifted. And the ribs draw in and up. One more breath. And then we'll set everything down and just go to the other side. Left leg straight back, toes facing down. And then stretch your right arm forward. So feel as if you're pushing your heel against something really heavy, like maybe a wall. Engage that leg. Lengthen through the fingertips and press through the heel. And then also you want that bottom hand that's holding you up, you want to anchor through every single knuckle. That way you don't put unnecessary pressure on your wrist. Even clawing your fingertips a little bit would be helpful. And then let's release down. We're going to take the other side again. Right leg back, left arm forward. This time, exhale, bring your knee and elbow towards each other. They don't have to touch, but go in that direction. And then inhale, draw out long through spinal balance. Exhale, everything in and up. We have 3 more here. Inhale as you reach and kick back. Exhale, navel towards the spine. And do that 2 more times on your own. Good. Now reach and lengthen into spinal balance and then set everything down. And just circle the hips out a little bit here. Just big, juicy, yummy circles. It actually brings more nourishment to our hips or low back by increasing blood flow. I like the word juicy because that's exactly what we're doing, right? We're increasing more juice to our joints. And as we age, go ahead and go the other direction in your circles. As we age, aging is actually the process of drying out. So this is why we want to create more lubrication in the body with our movement, right? Motion is lotion. And then come on back into hands and knees. Nice. Now we have the other side. So right arm forward, left leg back. Inhale. Exhale, knee and elbow towards each other. So go ahead and find your own rhythmic cadence here. Everyone's going to be a little different than me, maybe. I might be going faster or slower, so just find your own Little rhythm here. Just make sure you're breathing with the movement. And maybe you can bring the corners of your mouth and lift them up a little bit. One more time. And reach and lengthen out, spinal balance, and then set everything down. Good, let's take a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, lift up across the chest. Exhale, round the spine, navel towards the spine. And just doing that a few times, nice and slow. Good, let's do 2 more rounds of cat-cow. Really enjoying this, feels really good on the spine. And we're only as old, this is what the yogis say, right? We're only as old as our spine is flexible. So this is really good that we take care of our spine. Let's lower all the way down onto your belly now and come into your first back bend, gentle back bend of Sphinx pose. Prop yourself up on your forearms, stretch back through your toes, and lift the ribs up as you press your heart forward. Just enjoy that nice, gentle, actually therapeutic back bend here for 3 breaths. Good. Remembering you're giving your mind this very deep rest. It's restorative for our poor brains when we do yoga. And then we'll come all the way back down onto the belly and reach the right arm out in line with your right shoulder, palm facing down. And now walk it away, and then stack your hips and stack your shoulders and try to let your head rest. And try not to put any tension in your neck. If you want, you can stay right here. It might be enough for you, just stacking your hips and your feet. Some of you might want to lift that top leg up, bend your knee, and take the toe and try and touch the floor way over behind you so you get into a little bit more of a twist. It feels really good to me, but you know, honestly, sometimes it doesn't. So pay attention to what's going on with you and give yourself what you need. Very good. And then let's roll back onto the belly nice and slow. And then we'll take the other side. So the right elbow can bend actually, and bring your fingertips close to your shoulder, and then walk that left arm out. That will help you leverage. Roll the hips to stack. Maybe take your right foot and place it all the way over behind you. And this is where you can really pay attention to what side feels tighter, or what kind of sensations you feel from one side to the next. You know, all this is really great information your body's giving you. It's just whether or not we choose to listen. Onto the belly. Let's come into Balasana, child's pose. Push back, and I like to offer a wide-kneed child's pose, so bring your big toes together to touch, open the knees wide, and release the hips back towards your heels. And just rest your forehead down. Reach through the arms. You get nice and long through the side body, And then with that length, we're going to open up more side body. So take your hands, walk them to the right, and exaggerate lengthening through the left arm. Keeping that left hip back. And enjoy that side opening on the left for 3 breaths. Listening for that oceanic sound of the breath called Ujjayi breath. Okay, back through center, and then we'll walk over to the other side. And now opening up the right side body. Boy, this really feels good, especially in the morning, after sleeping. Helps us to breathe a little deeper and fuller. One more breath here. And then we'll come back through center. Very nice. Come on back into hands and knees. And then now we're going to take puppy pose. But I want to offer bringing the blocks in if you have blocks. If not, it's okay. But if you do have blocks, it'll be nice to place your elbows on them. This is more of a yin style we're bringing in right here, is bringing your elbows on the blocks, outer shoulder distance apart, and then walking your knees back so that you can really get into more of the thoracic area here. You're going to squeeze the elbows in towards each other, just a little bit, keeping that start to melt your armpits and your chest down. Now the hands can come together in namaste, and you can bring the thumbs to the back of your head if that's comfortable. That will definitely get more into the tricep area. Kind of a hard area to stretch, but this is a great one. And you're thinking of melting the armpits down, the chest down. As you gently squeeze the elbows in, everything else melts down. And then just try and relax. Your forehead may or may not find the floor. How so very nice it is to take the time to do these longer, deeper stretches. Your body loves it and needs it. Can you stay for 2 more breaths, please, and exhale a little bit longer. Very good. And then very gently come up. And then you can take those blocks and just place them off to the side. Place your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your sit bones. And then reach the right arm up towards the ceiling into this twist. And exhale, thread the arm right behind the left. Tap your shoulder and tap the temple. And come right back up again. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, maybe you can reach a little further underneath you. Let's do that one more time before we stay down. Inhale, opens you up to the right. And then exhale, reach way, way, way behind and get to the back of that right shoulder if you can. Rest the right temple side of the head down. And then bring your left hip back as it's going to want to shift forward. So just slide it back a little bit. And try to isolate. Remember, you're twisting from the mid-spine. Now, there are lots of variations of this pose. If you know one that's calling you, you certainly can do it. You can bring your left foot out to the side, sealing the foot to the floor, and then you can roll your chest open even more. So just decide, maybe that's not right for you today. Or it might be just what you need. way, think of spiraling your chest a little bit more towards the ceiling. And we'll take one more breath here. And then unwind everything wherever you decided to go. Come on back to hands and knees, and then we'll do the other side. So left arm's gonna reach up. What's going on over there? Inhale, and then exhale, thread it behind the right. Tap the shoulder and the head. Inhale up. Exhale, thread, tap the head and the shoulder. And one more time, inhale up. And then we're gonna stay down there. So reach way underneath you. Get onto the back of that shoulder. Rest your temple. First, bring your right hip back in space. And then maybe if you took that variation, you can do that. I love this one because it's really, you're getting a lot for doing one little posture. You're getting a spinal twist, an inversion, shoulder stretch. Good, and then we'll unwind out of that very gently. Placing hands and knees down. Woo. Good stuff, huh? Let's inhale into cat-cow here. Inhale into cow, exhale into cat. Just to neutralize the spine, do that 2 more times. And then coming back to neutral. Let's curl the toes, come into downward facing dog. Very first one. Notice how you feel after doing all that work in the shoulders and the spine, the wrists. Pressure heels back heavily. And then on your next inhale, we're gonna travel through plank pose. Shift the shoulders over the wrist. You might have to kind of work your feet back a little bit. And then lift the hips back up into dog pose as you exhale. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, dog pose. And see if you can make your breath longer than the movement. So when the movement stops, the breath is still going. Exhale up into dog pose. Continue exhaling all the way. 1 more time. Very good. And let's come into plank pose, and we're going to hold plank. So if this is too much on your wrists, you guys, and for some of you, come on down to the forearms. Okay, so there's 2 different ways of doing this pose. The forearms definitely is not easier necessarily, but if you have any wrist issues, it will definitely be nicer. And we're going to hold for 3 breaths. Press back through your heels. Draw the navel up towards the spine. Relax your face. And then we will all take the knees down and lower all the way down to your belly. Sweep the arms all the way back. We're getting off the shoulders and the arms now. Shalabhasana flow. Inhale, lift everything you can up off the floor, full lungs. Exhale, nice and slow, lower. We have 3 more. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, lower down. 2 more. Maybe you can lift up just a little bit more each time. Last one. And lower down. Good. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Take a little child's pose. That one is actually really good to improve our posture. It really helps to open up the chest and take away those rounded shoulders. Let's come back into table and then step your right foot forward, right in between your hands. And this is where you may want to bring your blocks in to create a little bit more lift. Bringing the floor a little closer to us. Sometimes that's really nice. These blocks make it possible to get into some of these poses. Okay, allow the left hip to melt forward. This is nice and stretchy into the psoas and the hip flexor. Good. It takes about 30 seconds or so for the muscles, the tight muscles especially, to respond, to release, to let go. So we're giving it that time and that space. And now we'll shift back into Ardha Hanuman. Flex the toes, just a hamstring stretch. Flex the toes, slide the blocks maybe a little closer so they're more underneath your shoulders, and then take the roundness out of the spine. Lift up across the chest here. Flexing those toes. And then something I really, really like a lot is flossing. Not just my teeth, but we're flossing this giant nerve in the body, the sciatic nerve. So flex the toes and then start to roll to the inner and the outer heel. Just kind of waving the foot towards the top of your mat. You're gonna really feel this. It'll go up the side of the leg. Just wave the foot a couple more times. And then let's come all the way back through that low lunge. So optional here, curl the back toes, lift up the back knee, and then you can either jump switch or just step switch. Just depends on how energetic you feel. Take the right knee back down, bring the blocks in if you need it. And we'll be here for about 5 to 8 breaths, depending on your breath pattern. Just give yourself the time here to settle in. Not too much thinking. You're very connected to the sensations in your body. Try and bring that breath down deep into the lower lobes of the lungs on your inhale. As you exhale, squeeze out all the breath to make room for that next full in-breath. Okay, one more time like that. Breath is most important, most important. Everything else is secondary. Okay, let's shift back into Ardha Hanumanasana, which is a half split or hamstring stretch. Slide your blocks a little closer to you so you feel supported if you're using them. Flex the toes, lift the chest. And then as you're ready, you can start to floss this giant nerve on this leg and just go side to side, keeping your toes flexed. Deepen your breath here. Relax the face. And then we're going to come all the way back forward again into that low lunge. And we'll move the blocks a little bit forward. You may need them when we come into a forward fold, so keep them close by. Curl your back right toes under, lift your thigh. And then take a few steps, maybe one giant step, into a forward fold at the top of your mat. So you're going to separate your feet about hip distance apart. Your hands can be on blocks, or maybe you reach for opposite elbows here, and just let your body hang. Release the tension from the spine. You can take a little side to side motion. This is very good for the central nervous system, very calming for the mind.
if you have a pretty good back and you don't have any issues going on with your low back, you can ragdoll it up by bending your knees and pull the belly in and stack each vertebra one at a time. If that's not for you, take your hands on your hips, lift the chest, and come up with a nice flat back. And then relax the arms. So we made it to Tadasana. Separate the feet again, make sure hip distance, and then let's reach the arms out and up on the inhale. And then interlace the hands, turn the hands inside out, flip them up towards the ceiling. Reach it up and take it over to the right. So just go into a nice side bend. Inhale back to center, and then exhale over to the left. Inhale back to center, and then bend your knees and fold down as you exhale. On the inhale, lift up halfway. Draw the chest forward away from your thighs, and then exhale, fold back in again. We're going to do that a couple more times. Either hands on your hips or ragdoll it up. Sweep the arms out and up on the inhale. Turn the hands inside out. Flip the palms up. Take it up and over to the right on your exhale. Back to center. Up and over to the left. Exhale. Back through center. Forward fold. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, lift the chest halfway. Nice long spine. Exhale and fold. And then one more time, we're going to roll up or stand up, however feels right for you. Sweep the arms up. Inhale. Turn the hands inside out. Lift up and sway to the right as you exhale. The inhale brings you back up, and the exhale, sway to the left. Back up through center, and then just bring the hands down and bring the hand in front of the heart center into Namaste, and just reconnect back to your breath. Spread your toes, anchor through your feet. And then bring the arms up by the ears. You're going to seek out a chair, so sit the hips way, way back. So now we're going to get a little strengthening in our legs and our spine. Don't let the knees sickle in or push too far out. You want the knees to track right over the center of your feet. So make sure you look at your feet, check it out. The weight's in your heels, and you're lifting the chest almost like it's cobra pose. Draw the navel in and up, sit down a little deeper. Now load up your left leg, and then just lift up the right leg. See if you can hover the right foot up off the floor. All of a sudden, this practice got really hard. Now bring your right foot back down. You're still in your chair. Load up the right leg and see if you can lift the left leg. And then take that left leg down and fold over your legs. Lift your hips. Exhale your breath. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold. Good. Back to chair pose. Drop your hips. Lift your chest. We're going to do that one more time. Load up the left leg. Lift up the right. Place the right foot down. Load up the right. Lift up the left. Place the left foot down and fold over your legs. Lift your hips. Inhale halfway. And exhale, fold. Good. We're going to move on from that. Sit down into that chair. Lift up. Okay, load up that left leg. Lift up the right leg. And now see if you can stretch that right leg all the way back. And you're going to land on the ball of your foot into high crescent lunge. So high crescent lunge is a little bit of a balance. So to stabilize, squeeze your feet in towards each other, towards the midline. Lift the arms up by the ears. And then maybe you bend your knee just a little deeper. Good. Now spin your back heel down. Get your heels in line and open up into Warrior Two. On your next inhale, press to stand, touch the palms above your head, look up. And then exhale, sink back into Warrior Two. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale up. And exhale, Warrior Two. And 1 more time, inhale up. And exhale, Warrior Two. Stay here, Warrior Two, gazing out over your left fingertips. On your next inhale, reach up and back into reverse warrior. Stay here and breathe. Bend your knee a little deeper. Reach back a little bit more. Side angle pose. Place the forearm on your thigh and sweep that right arm up and stretch it over the side of your ear, palm facing down. Now, some of you may want to take a wrap here. You can reach that right arm up and wrap it around the base of the spine for a half wrap. And some of you might want to go all the way down, dive down, and reach underneath the leg and see if you can hold onto your wrist or fingers or whatever you can get to. So make sure you choose wisely with whatever you're dealing with. One more breath. And then looking down, frame your foot. Roll up onto the ball of your right toes and then take your left arm up into a twist. Good. Plank pose. Upper push-up position. You can take traditional Chaturanga Dandasana nice and slow, or take your knees, chin, and chest for Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale into Cobra pose or upward facing, yogi's choice. Exhale into down dog. And take 3 deep breaths here. Heavy heels, light toes. Root down through every single knuckle. Good, then bend your knees. Look forward, you can walk, you can hop. Accidentally hit a handstand. Inhale, lift up halfway. And then fold, exhale. Nice, hands on your hips. Press down to rise. And release the arms. Good, inhale, sweep the arms forward and up. And then this time, bend your knees a lot. And exhale, sweep the arms back. Exhaling through the mouth. Releasing any tension. Inhale, up, full lungs. Exhale, push the arms back. Exhale through the mouth. One more time, inhale. You might want to stick out your tongue to release the tension in the jaw. Lion's breath. Inhale up. And then bring the hands to the heart center as you exhale. And just notice a lightness after doing that. And now we're going to shift the weight now to the right leg. Okay, oh, actually come into chair pose. Sorry, I can't leave that out. Come into chair, shift the weight to the right leg and lift up the left leg. Good, now when you're ready, you're gonna kick that leg back and place it intentionally on the ball of your foot. Lift up into high crescent lunge. Good. So remember, for stability, you can squeeze the feet towards each other a little bit. That really helps to lock you in. Spin your back heel down, warrior 2. Take a moment to adjust if you need to. And then we'll inhale, press up to stand, touch the palms. Try to get the entire palms together. Look up, let the head drop back. Exhale, release back into warrior 2. So do that a couple times on your own. And the whole idea of getting your palms together is really going to help the whole structure of the arms, getting a stretch through the side of the forearms, the shoulders, changes everything. One more time, inhale. And exhale, now hold your warrior 2. And then inhale up and back into reverse warrior. Hold this, bend your knee a little deeper. And make sure it's not towards the big toe, but push it towards the pinky toe. So you take care of your knee. There you go, Mark, yeah. Reach back a little more. And then side angle pose, forearm on the thigh. Full stretch. So remember, you can stay here. You can take a half wrap. You can take a full wrap. You can do all 3. Give yourself time to explore it and see where you are, what you're feeling like. looking down, we're all gonna release. Frame the foot, roll up onto the ball of your back toes there, and then reach the right arm up and do a twist. And release. So you can always skip vinyasa or take a vinyasa here. Lower down nice and slow, or you can just take down dog. You can even take child's pose. Take a nice deep inhale. And let's all exhale through your mouth. Don't be shy to sigh. Let's take the knees down. Stand on the knees. And then inhale, lift up into the chest, lift the arms up. As you exhale, your hips are gonna find your heels. Your arms are gonna sweep out to the side and all the way down alongside your body. Forehead touches the floor, hips towards your heels. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, stand on the knees, and aim to make the inhale longer than the movement. Exhale, hips back, arms back, and aim to make the exhale longer than the movement. 2 more times on your own. Keep breathing in more and more. This is just a little trick to get you all to breathe deeper. This movement really helps to support that. And then the next time your head's down, you can just rest here with your arms alongside the body, shoulders rolling forward. Just taking the time to reset and see how you're feeling. And then let's stretch those arms forward towards the front of your mat. Come on up into tabletop and then make your way back into down dog, please. And then this time, let's take a wide dog. It's one of my favorites. Bring your feet out wide as your mat and drop your heels heavy towards the back of your mat and press your chest between your thighs. And make sure that the hands are nicely rooted. Wide dog like this is particularly nice if you're feeling really tight in the back of the legs. You can just open up the legs wider and it really helps. We'll walk the hands back now in between that space between your feet. And then we'll take a squat pose, Malasana. Or some of you might not be able to get down here all the way, and that's okay. You'll just modify, stay up a little higher. But the idea is that you're opening up your inner thighs, your low back, and actually clearing the pathways for our digestive tract. So everything gets nice and open, so we can release more efficiently the toxins from our body. Sitting in chairs and cars is definitely not optimal for our digestive system and our health. Good. Then from there, we're going to take a seat. So however you can get there, come to a seat. And then we're going to come right away into Navasana, boat pose. So we're going to work a little bit of core here, balancing on your sit bones, lift the chest. I know, and if you don't like this pose, that means you really need to do it. Well, lift up into the chest, make sure you're not rounding your spine. Good, 3 more breaths here. You're balancing on your sit bones. You can always take the hands back for support too, if you need a little bit of help here. 1 more breath. And then we'll take Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, reach up out of the waist, hold onto your feet and fold forward and down. Forehead in front of your toes one day. That may never happen, and that's okay, but that's what you're reaching for, so that way your spine lengthens and not collapses. Good, and then coming up, very nice. Stretch your legs out in front of you, give your legs a little shake out. So we're gonna stay with the theme of kind of very calming practice. Let's take a blanket and slide it underneath your seat so that you are sitting nice and tall. So your body is getting familiar with that stacking principle here. Ears and shoulders right over the hips. So if you want to take a look at me for a moment, you don't want to be like this. So if you find yourself like this, use the blanket. If it's still difficult, bring the hands back behind you to lift up the chest. And then flex your feet. So your priority here, besides your breath, is the long spine. You don't want to round the spine here, so lift up. And then only as you are ready, you can take your hands forward, see where you are. Can you still keep your spine long? And if you can, then you start to come forward a little bit more. And as soon as you start rounding the spine, that's where you want to maybe stop and breathe. Let the back of the legs respond. Some of you might be lying down right over those legs. Some of you might have your hands back behind you. Everyone will benefit 100%. Just find your own edge. If you're really, really flexy-plexy, you can take a block in front of your feet and reach for the block out in front of your feet. So that's another way to challenge yourself if you're one of those people. Everybody has their strong points, right? We all have stuff to work on. We have strengths. But with no judgment at all, and just appreciate what your body can do. Honor the wisdom that it carries. I'm going to be here for just a little bit, so I want you to get to a place where you can relax and just let the posture do its magic. You could look at this as a little bit of yin, a little touch of yin in our practice today. Longer holds to relax, to let go. Good, and then very gently we're going to back away from that. Take a moment just to feel the effects of that pose. And we'll take Janu Shirsasana next, so slide the right foot towards the inside of your left thigh. You can place a block underneath that right hip thigh if you need a little more support there. Sometimes that's nice. And then you want to square your hips towards your extended left leg there. And then reach the arms up on the inhale. And then as you exhale, fold forward over that leg to your own degree, whatever that looks like for you. Whatever it is, it is. There's a reason why your body has these boundaries. You know, there's certain times when your body's saying no way. And that means it's telling you something. There's a boundary there that you must respect. Don't push beyond it until it's ready. It'll definitely let you know. Love practices like this because they really encourage a healthy relationship with our bodies. Like I said before, listening a little bit more, honoring what's going on, bring that right knee to face up, sole of the foot down. And I'm just gonna have you interlace your fingers right below the right knee and pull in so you lift up nice and tall. You do want a long spine here because we're twisting. You take your left arm in front of your right leg, and then just take your right hand back close to your spine. Flex your bottom extended leg, your toes, and lift up and start to twist. So there's a couple different variations here too. You could get your elbow outside the knee if you have that flexibility. Palm face out and then twist from there. Wringing out the spine. And then let's come back around. Nice. Okay, so we're going to take a pigeon from this position, which is very interesting. Take your right foot and just hang it over your left knee, right above your knee, and flex your foot. I'm going to have you bring your hands back for support, and then slide your left foot to the floor. Yeah, so the further away you are, the less intense it is. So when you're ready, you can start to slide your foot a little closer to your seat. You can lift up the chest and bring your chest a little closer to your front shin. But just kind of see what's happening. Is it causing you to round your spine? Then you've gone too far. So just find a nice hip opener here. Flex the toes, lift the chest. The moment I drop my chest, I don't feel anything. As soon as I lift up, there it is. And if you want, you can kind of take this side to side motion, kind of a lateral motion, feels good. I should have called this the flossing class, because this is kind of like flossing out the tension in that hip. Flossing just tells me that it's something we need to do more, right? We need to do practices like this a lot more. Okay, good. Then how about we do double pigeon? Everyone's favorite. So walk your, what is this, left foot. Walk your left foot over. It's also called fire log pose. So don't be surprised if this is really, really challenging. This is a very deep hip opener. You're stacking your shins, which is why it's called fire log pose. Double pigeon. Knee over the ankle. And your ankle is right over the knee, so you're pushing down towards the floor. Eventually, you want to get that right sit bone down. That's your first goal. If it's lifted way up, just kind of work at getting it down. And then those of you that are ready, you have the flexibility, you can bring your hands to your feet, lift the chest, and fold over your legs. So there's always someplace else to go. Right? Find your place. Make sure you have that concept of Sthira Sukha Asana, which is your, kind of happy, content, or at least you're able to manage. I meant to say too, if this is just not happening for you at all, you can just cross your shins in front of each other for Sukhasana. That's also a hip opener. You're probably thinking, now you tell me. Good. Just a couple more moments here. Try to release the tension from the shoulders, the face, the hips. Anything bogging you down mentally or emotionally, just leave a little bit of that on your mat today. Good, and then we're going to release out of that. Nice. So just stretch the legs out in front of you, let the blood rush back in and do its healing work. Pump out the knees a little bit. Good. And then we're taking inhale, lift up, and then just take
One brief forward fold here. See if you can go down just a tiny bit more as you exhale. And then inhale, come on up. And now taking that foot to the floor, that left foot to the floor. We're going to do Janu Sirsasana, that's right. So left knee goes out to the side, sole of the foot comes in towards your right inner thigh. And square off the hips. So this is a different side. Let's see what's going on this side. Flex the bottom toes, lift up, and find your pose. Some of us like to have goals, how long we can be in a pose. So give yourself 5 breaths. That's it. Count your own breath. Inhale and exhale is 1. And so on. Let's take one final breath here. Maybe exhale through the mouth and release a little more. And then finding your way back up. Take that left foot to the floor. And then interlace your fingers right below the knee. Lift up tall, squeeze in. Flex your right foot. And then start to make your twist. So the right arm can wrap in front of the left leg, or you can hook your elbow on the outside, but make sure that doesn't cause a slouchiness, right? Lift up and twist. You can also notice here, are you leaning too far back? So you want to be right on top of those sit bones. That's why the blanket is nice to have. Flex your bottom foot for stability. One more breath, lengthen up through the crown of the head on the inhale, twist as you exhale, maybe finding more depth. And then come back around, very gently. Good, now we'll take that pigeon variation, cross that left ankle right over the right knee. Take your hands back for support, and then we'll slide the right foot to the floor. Kind of just see where you are, and then you can start to cinch everything a little closer together as you're ready. Push that left knee away from your body. Flex your foot so you protect your knee, and then just take this nice gentle movement, side to side. It's a good time to exhale through the mouth. Good, and then we'll start to set up for double pigeon. So walk that bottom foot over. You don't want the heel to be too close to your bum, right? You want to make sure the shin bone is more parallel to the front edge of your mat. So you want that nice stacking of the shins. And then make sure the hands are back for support initially. Try to get your left hip down and just press the knees down. That might be where you stay, or you can take your hands on your feet and come on down to that forward stretch. Good. So you have this nice yin feel to this right here. You're just letting go. And going back to that perspective story, I love that story. I'm remembering a very similar story that my teacher told us about the 3 things that we can take in to our being, right? It's our breath, food and water that goes together, and our perception. How we perceive any situation has a great deal of impact on our health and well-being. And how we handle stress. one last breath. Stay with me here. Maybe you exhale through the mouth. Good. And then we'll release. And guess what? You get to release all the way down to your back. Yay. Come on down, but we're not done yet. Take bridge pose. Slide the heels close to your seat. Lift the hips, walk your shoulder blades a little closer together. And just enjoy this. Open up the whole front body here. We've done a lot of forward fold and stuff like that today, so this is really nice to take that balance. One more full breath. And then we'll take a block or two and just slide it underneath your hips, right around the sacrum. And then if you want, you can stretch your legs out for even more of a yin back bend here, just relaxing, opening up the front body. And what a great way to start your weekend. Everything you do from here on out today, you have a 24-hour guarantee. Your yoga practice lasts you for a full day, the effects of it. So from here on out today, you'll feel more grounded, more spacious. Maybe move a little slower. And be more aware of everything you're doing, even eating your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You'll be more aware of what the food tastes like, what it feels like in your body, how it makes you feel. All this is the first steps to improving your health and recognizing what is working for you and what isn't. Everyone's so different. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Okay, then we'll release out of that and take the block away if you're using that and pull your knees into your chest. And just circle now, frog circles into the hips, big wide circles. And then go the other way. And you can stay with this if happy baby is not very happy for you. You can take happy baby or just stay with your circles or pull your knees down towards your armpits. Sometimes happy baby ends up being cranky baby. We don't want that. Draw your chin down. Make sure the neck is long. Very good. And then let those legs come down. You can take Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees out. You can place blocks behind your thighs there for support, or you can just stretch your legs out in front of you. So we're going to end with a breathing practice that's going to really help to anchor this practice. I would like you to get comfortable on your back. Exhale all of the breath, empty out. And now inhale to a full 5 or 6 count breath. Really deepen the breath, fill up. Hold the breath in for just a few counts. And then try to double your exhale. So if you were breathing in for 5, try to breathe out for 10. Good, and then do that again. Inhale to a full count of 4, 5, or 6, whatever you're comfortable with. Hold it in. And then try to double the exhale. This is such a great breath practice here. Do that a couple more times on your own, please. go of all the effort. Even trying to control the breath. Just let it be natural. And if you have longer for Shavasana today, it'd be good to stay here for another 5 minutes or so. Otherwise, I'm going to end the class officially, wishing you all a wonderful weekend. Namaste.